According to sources, as the investigation into the mass burials continues, the 7th and 8th burial sites have been exhumed today, with sources telling NewsX that 2 buckets with mortal remains of victims have been recovered by the police. Belly, my colleague, is joining us on the program once again to give us some updates about this. Belly, this continues to be an extremely disturbing web of developments where bodies continue to pop out of the ground. There still isn't a trail of who's done it, but obviously the temple at large is also at the center of focus for all these disappearances and murders.
Absolutely, Vinny. This is the 5th day of exhumation exercise that's being carried out by the SIT at the banks of the Netravati River, which is, again going to be extended into the reserve forest area adjoining that river. And yesterday, at the 6th burial site that has been identified by the former sanitation worker, the complainant in this case, they got some skeletal remains. And today, on the 5th day of exhumation, there's a mini earth mover there, and that was the one which was excavating the burial spot number 7 and 8 today. So since yesterday it was open, and since the skeletal remains were taken and somebody could get to see what it is. So today it was all covered with kind of curtains, and it wasn't visible from outside for the general public as such who had gathered near that spot or from the hillocks nearby. They couldn't actually see what's actually going on. But only thing that they confirm is that whenever these the team comes out with some boxes or buckets, they think kind of say that they kind of assume that something has been taken by the SIT officials, and which is going to the FSL is what they say. So today there is also soil collected in plastic covers and sent to FSL is what we learned now.
Very stay with us. Ashwini Dubey, a friend and of course advocate on record of Supreme Court, also with us on the broadcast. Ashwini, you've been following this case. What do you make of what's happened over here? It's deeply disturbing. It reminds you of what happened on the outskirts of Noida as well. The Nithari killings, if I remember correctly. But in this case, there are hundreds of bodies. There are they have not been identified, but there are witnesses who have come forth saying that they did not say anything out of fear from the organizers and the powers that be in Dharmasthala. What is your overall observation, your legal observation of what's going on over here? The role of the police is also being scrutinized at this point in time, Ashwini, because they are being accused of slipping a lot of these developments under the carpet.
Yes, very rightly you have said that there was a mass murder, sexual violence, and mass graves were buried there in the town of Dharmasthala. And the police, which was duty bound to investigate and to take it to the logical end, has failed. And that is why you see, as of now, after so many years, and that too, on July 3, 2025, a 48-year-old man who worked as a sanitation worker at Dharmasthala temple said that he has been forced to bury hundreds of bodies between 95 and 2014 under the threat of death. The man whose identity has been protected by a court and claims to have been hiding for 12 years. You can understand, the person who has made this statement, he was hiding. He was also afraid of his life. He has a threats. And he said the victims, who included a school child and a 20-year-old acid attack victim, were buried along the Netravati River, and that many female bodies bore signs of strangulation and sexual assault. This needs to have been investigated upon earlier. Nithari case we have seen. Bodies of the children were found, but Surendra Kohli and Maninder Pundey, what is his name, they have come out. And see, no one, it means that the bodies which have been found, who killed them? Who was responsible for that? So delayed investigation, not collecting the credible evidence in a criminal law, and that too every minute is important. You see, in this matter relates to 10-15 years, it should have come to logical end. But the families or the accused persons were so powerful. They managed the entire show. And now, as of now, if you see, the human rights activist and lawyer S. Balan, he has alleged that more than 367 women victims are missing, many of whom are residents of Dharmasthala region and students of the law, medical and engineering college of the region. It's all the public domain. I think this needs to be investigated. And that too, when the wrongful, malicious prosecution supporting any accused has taken place, then those who are responsible officials, they should also be investigated upon why they have done it, for what, and if there is they are found guilty, they should also be meted with the provisions of law which has been given under section 182 IPC 211-2009 and under section 217 BNS, 248 BNS and 246 BNS. The law provides it that those responsible for wrongful, malicious prosecution and those who have given false statements, being public servant, dishonestly, who has not conducted the investigation, they should also be their role should be fixed. That is how we can fix that. We can say that yes, any faulty investigation, the investigation which should have been carried out in a proper manner, legal manner, as per the criminal jurisprudence, if not have been done, then the action will follow against them also. So here we can exactly see that the mass murders, allegations of missing bodies, but no, nothing has found. Now the SIT is investigating. How I don't know what will happen tomorrow in this matter. But as of now, we see that's very serious case which requires the investigation and also the responsibility of those guilty who has not taken it to the further in the court of law. Their responsibility should also be fixed. Over to you.